Hey everybody, this is Ben. I'm back again this week for another cigar review, and this week I'm doing the Rocky Patel Vintage 2003 Cameroon. And this cigar came out at this year's IPCPR, and supposedly Rocky Patel has been wanting to do a Cameroon wrapper cigar for a long time, but just couldn't find the right Cameroon leaf. And anyway, this is finally the product that he got after finding the best grade A leaf he could possibly find. It has a grade A Cameroon wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and a Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. It runs for about $7 a stick for this Robusto, and it comes in the Robusto, which is 5.5 by 50. Let's see what else it comes in. It comes in the Toro is 6.5 by 52, a Torpedo 6.25 by 52. A Churchill, a traditional 7x48 ring gauge, and a 60 6x60. So pretty much all the standard sizes that Rocky has. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing. It's a kind of a mottled brown wrapper. Well, you can see those two little water spots right there. But other than that, look at that. The wrapper is not very pretty, but this is a very fragile wrapper. Cameroon is one of the most fragile wrappers you can have. Look at the cap. It's not too bad. There's a foot. Focus. Looks pretty neatly packed. Anyway. Actually, it has a real old, almost like a rotten wood kind of smell to it. Real like, forest floor kind of a smell. It's actually pretty neat, actually. Foot's pretty much the same way, nothing different. So, let's go ahead and light this thing up. A little bit off the top. Actually has a pretty loose straw. Hope they don't make it burn too hot, but it's a little bit more loose than I would want it to be. But it's not too bad. I don't think it'll be a problem, but we'll see how it goes. Use my Lotus quadruple flame here. Don't tell me that ran out of flame. You gotta love lighters. Amazing. Crank that bitch up. There we go. Maybe it'll have a continuous flame on here in a minute. Wow. Damn. Me and lighters. Amazing. There we go. Old cheapo cigar works like a champ. Oh, it did. It's out of flame. Anyway, I'm gonna light this thing up, and I'll be back in a minute. Let you know how the first part gets. See you in a second. Here, everybody. I got it finally lit. I can see the ashes starting to flower on me there. So far, construction, give it about a C+. About it. But where it really makes up for that is in the flavor. Just in the first about inch or so, this cigar has got a ton of really good flavor. You get a nice sweet spice, a really smooth, like a caramel type note, some woodiness to it, and a really nice, smooth coffee note to it also. Nothing really kind of bold or really bitter about the coffee flavor, but it just reminds me of, it does remind me of a bold coffee, but not one that's like super bitter. Just really kind of a smooth coffee flavor. It's very, very good. I love this smoke, especially with that nice sweetness with the coffee and the caramel notes. It kind of reminds me of like a caramel latte or something like that, with a little bit of spice kicked into it. so far so good. I'm really digging this smoke, and I'm a big fan of Cameroon cigars also. But I'm more of a fan of a Cameroon of this style, more like the sweeter, smoother, creamier kind of, I don't know, buttery smoothness kind of style than a more herbaceous type quality. Which, in the first few puffs of this cigar, I did get that kind of herbaceous kind of taste that you usually get from most Cameroon wrappers, or vegetal kind of a taste or whatever. But it kind of dissipated fairly quickly. I get hints of it every now and then, but that's not, I barely get that. It's almost indiscernible, so I kind of don't even count that anymore. But at the very beginning, it was definitely there. I was kind of wondering where this cigar was going to go. I'm kind of glad where it's going so far. So anyway, I'm going to smoke this about the halfway point, and I'll let you know how it is. See you in a second. Hey everybody, I'm back. As you can see, I'm out to the halfway point now. The burn has gotten a lot better, actually. And the flavors are still really nice. You get that really smooth caramel note that I get in it too. It's kind of like I'm just giving like a buttery mouthfeel too with that. But you also get like a sweet spice, and the woodiness is still there, but the coffee is kind of faded. It's still there, but it's nowhere near as strong as it was in the beginning of the cigar. But it's kind of leveled out now. Still, it's like mainly the main note would be like a sweet caramel kind of woody flavor to it. It's really actually pretty good. I'm really enjoying it so far. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this thing off. I'll let you know how it finishes. See you in a second. Everybody, I'm done. About the final third here. It's getting a little mushy and hot now, so I'm probably end it here. I thoroughly enjoyed this cigar actually. It's probably one of the best Cameroons I've actually ever smoked. The end of it got a little more bitter, even though that sweetness was there. It might have tamed down the bitterness somewhat, but it still left me with that, which is basically woodiness and a sweetness. The caramel flavor actually kind of died down too. So pretty much at the end, all I got was a sweetness, woodiness, with just a hint of bitterness to it. And that's pretty much all it was at the end. But I just started like right here at the very end of it. Up until then, it was all just full of just basically just notes of like a sweet spice, caramel, hint of coffee, and woodiness the whole way through. It was a very good stick actually. It's like I said, it's one of the better Cameroons that I've had. So this is definitely one, for a Cameroon lover, you really should check this one out. I compare it a lot to maybe like the H. Hupman Vintage Cameroon, which is another favorite of mine. I actually really enjoyed the Robusto size in that one also, or like the Toronjo Cameroon in 1916. I really enjoyed that one too. Even though this is on the sweeter side of like the Toronjo Cameroon, but that's two of my favorite Cameroons, along with like the La Aurora line, obviously. But this is a different animal than the La Aurora Cameroons. This is a much sweeter Cameroon than like the La Aurora. To me, the La Auroras are a little bit more full body than this one is. Was like a mild medium, where the La Auroras were kind of like the 1495 or whatnot, and their line, whatever. That's more of a little bit more medium body, but this has just a caramel sweetness to it that the other ones don't seem to have. Probably the closest one is the H. Hupman Vintage Cameroon. So if you like that one, you'll definitely like this stick right here. So nevertheless, try these out and see what you think. I think you'll be impressed with them. And for like $7 a stick, I think it's worth $7 a stick for sure. So I'm definitely going to pick more of these up. So anyway, on that note, remember, nothing beats a nice tight ash.